Hey everyone, I'm Summer, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about visibility and authority and building businesses that reflect who you are. This is a part of my Teach Me Something series where I have conversation with experts and they help us communicate more clearly or market more intentionally, show up with more confidence in a crowded digital world. And today's conversation is very, very relevant for solopreneurs because we all know we are so good at what we do, but we struggle to explain it. We struggle to position ourselves or fully own our presence online. My guest today is Ariel Faith. This beautiful lady is a story driven marketing strategist. She's a brand photographer, she's a speaker, podcast host, and she's a heart centered entrepreneur who helps others stand out with confidence. Ariel works with women leaders. She works with speakers, coaches, authors, business owners to align their messaging and their branding and marketing so that they attract the right clients and communicate their value clearly. So, what makes her approach very unique is she combines strategic storytelling with personal brand photography by helping, and she helps entrepreneurs build ethical, authentic visibility that doesn't just look good but drives results. And that's what we all need. Ariel, welcome to Teach Me Something.
Well, it is a pleasure to be here.
You often talk about three connected parts of business that women entrepreneurs really need to understand if they want to grow with clarity and confidence. Would you like to break down what those three parts are and why they're so connected to each other?
Absolutely. So we often hear about branding, we hear about marketing, we hear about sales. Okay, so let's think about those three individual as they are. Branding, a lot of people consider their colors, their logos, some of the emotional choices you make with the style of your marketing. But branding is more than that. Branding is
Mm,
more about your ethics, your values, your what do you want people to think and feel about you when they see your marketing.
mm,
So, do you want them to feel warm and inviting, or do you want them to see you as a professional and an authority? There's different. We
mm,
place ourselves in different markets for different
mm,
reasons. So,
mm,
branding is all about our reputation,
mhm.
and it's about what other people feel when they come across your work. And a lot of
Yes.
us think about what people think.
Mm,
But really, the branding is an emotional piece to our marketing. Marketing is the words we speak about our own business.
mm,
So you have the brand, which is all the visual elements. It could be sounds, it could be lots of things that
mm,
we're using in our marketing to get people to feel or have emotional reactions. And then the words are what we're saying about
mm,
our business, right? It's
mm,
not what
mm.
anyone else is saying, it's what we're
Yes.
saying. So that piece, those two pieces, if they're not talking the same language,
Mm,
you have you have a big disconnect that you're not even aware of. I'll give you an example. I don't have a physical example, but I'll give you a illustrative example.
mhm,
Say I have bold neon colors
mm,
because I love them. I just think they're
mm,
awesome. I love fluorescence and I'm a very bold and wild like person, right? But my
mm,
brand is soft and I'm
mm,
coaching and I'm teaching women that are struggling.
mm.
Will I attract a woman who's struggling with very bold, I have all the confidence in the world type branding?
Probably not. Mm,
Probably not.
mm,
Can you use elements of bold in your branding? Absolutely. But if it's the dominant feature, then you have to think about what you're saying without words.
mm,
And that's kind of the whole point is how are your images working? How is the colors you're using, font types, all that stuff? How is it working to get your message clear, to get the message you want them to have clear? And then you have the sales part. And this is the part I think is the best. This is the coolest. If
mm,
our branding is done right,
mm,
done well, I'll put it that way, and our marketing is clear and connected to the images, and we're giving one clear message,
mm,
then the sales part becomes easy because they already know, like you, and trust you.
mm,
And it's just a matter of, do I solve a problem that they have?
mm,
Yes or no. Simple as that.
mm.
Um, so the sales, a lot of us struggle with that sales part. I don't want to be salesy, and I'm that way 100%. I hate sales.
Me too.
But when you use story the right way,
Mm,
when you use stories that connect the audience to the point, right? When you are not the center of the universe, when your client is the center,
mm,
and you are really showing that you are there to help,
Hmm.
to serve, to guide, then it becomes a real easy transaction
Hmm.
at that on the other side of that. If you have the
Hmm.
problem that, I mean, obviously, if I sell widgets and you need thingamabobs, then we're not, it just doesn't fit, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So, I mean, that part is very important to the puzzle, but
Hmm.
I hope that explained it. Did you have need any clarity on anything?
Absolutely. The disconnect between wanting a thingamabob or needing widgets. And branding and marketing sometimes seem way too different things. And sometimes they might look like connected, but a lot of solopreneurs are like flummoxed. Like, how can I make my branding and my messaging and my marketing work together? So how do you teach this? How can you explain why branding and marketing are so deeply connected, and if people do it well, how can they work better?
I think it's just gaining knowledge for me. So it's learning to see with different eyes. I've been
Mm,
in design and I've been in the visual art world for many, many years. So I have a
mm,
very high visual sense of
mm,
connectivity and placement and various other page things, page layout, etc. But not everyone has that eye.
mm,
So you might create this thing that has all the words you want, but it's so chaotic to read that no one will read it, right? Or there's way too much information on this little square on a screen.
mm, mm.
And those little things are enough to have somebody just scroll on by. So
Yeah.
once you learn some of those basics, and I
Mm,
teach some of those basics, I also help with hot seats. If somebody wants to, I do it about once a month where I invite
mm,
people that are willing to have me look at their work
mm,
online, but to teach,
mm,
what are we trying to say?
mm,
What are we saying? And then usually there's some people in the audience that are saying, well, I didn't get that message. So then we have clarity outside of ourselves because when we're
mm,
in the jar, and I'm
mm,
guilty myself, when we're in the jar, we cannot see from the outside perspective because we're in it,
mm,
right? We
mm,
cannot take ourselves and go outside that jar and look. So we
mm,
need people around us that are going to say, this is really, really good. This is
mm,
strong,
mm,
but it's disconnected to this over here. And here's why.
mm,
Because to me, if you don't understand the why, it's not about opinions,
mm,
because it's really about what was the message that you wanted, what was the feeling you wanted. You got to get
mm,
to those 2 points.
mm,
Once you know what that feeling is, then you really can work to um to fine tune it. If your colors aren't sending the right feeling, if they're and that's a very complex subject, color
mm,
psychology. So most of us
mm,
aren't color psychology experts, right? But we can get a sense. Somebody walks into a room, they get a sense of the feel.
mm,
All of us do it. It's intuition. We're wired this way. If something looks off, we see it. If somebody's doing AI, I'll give you a good example. When they're doing videos, at least at this point, I haven't seen one yet that didn't do this. But
mm.
if you notice, my tongue is not moving
You
when
know,
I'm
that's
talking.
AI. You know,
That's
that's
AI.
AI. Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll talk perfectly fine.
Mm,
The
mm,
mouth will move, but the
mm.
the tongue
Voices
is
are
stuck to
fine.
the
Yes.
bottom.
Mm,
So those kind of things throw people off. And I'm all about authenticity, as you know, because I really
mm,
believe our superpower is ourself, our
mhm,
knowledge, our experience,
mhm,
whatever we have learned and gained through this journey of life. If we can help someone else
mm,
to not have such a hard time getting to the next step and getting through the hard parts, then that's really what it's all about, is sharing
mm.
and caring and helping each other, because we all rise together, right?
We do. Yes.
You do. Okay.
Putting visibility and identity together. The feeling has to be connected with the identity.
Yes.
There's a disconnect when I can't put the identity of this person with what they're conveying. Normally, when I ask people like, "Hey, what's your brand? What's your brand trying to do?" Oh, my brand is red. It's Merryweather font. That's how they normally roll with. I think that's where many entrepreneurs get stuck. They focus on visibility. They want to be seen everywhere before they have clarity. Before they have an identity or get a clarity on their identity, they want visibility, and their content is out. Where there's a big disconnect. Let's talk about social media specifically, because landscape there keeps changing like so fast. So from your perspective, what's been the biggest shift in social media marketing, like right now, 2025, 26? What do business owners need to understand if they want to stay relevant or build a real connection online?
I continually do market research
Mhm.
because I want to obviously stay
Stay
with current
abreast.
trends to understand the market. My market is basically the woman who may not be as tech savvy, so she's the older clientele who gets super frustrated with all this stuff, generally speaking. So I need to understand that market because that market changes as that market grows, right? We don't stay stagnant. So a couple things in my recent research that I thought was pretty fascinating was, and I've been saying this for a couple of years, so the fact that it is now like in the marketing research is so cool because it's like, I was right. I know that seems funny, but the more AI we see, I've been saying this for literally several years, the more AI we see, the more real we will crave. So what is working is authentic you. The more you show up, the more you share yourself. And here's the key. When you say that, when you say share your story, that doesn't mean you share your pain while you're in your pain.
Yeah.
Like, say my dog just died. I'm not going to get on social media and just start crying and say my dog died. Okay, I might post a picture of the dog and say, whatever, but I'm not going to get online and share that raw emotion. Why? Why would I not want to do that?
Would people connect it to the brand? Is that why?
How is my raw pain connected to my brand?
It's probably not.
In my personal account, I might have something more like that in there, right? I probably wouldn't because I'm pretty private. But some people aren't. They're like they let it all out. So there's a point where you have to be intentional. So with intentionality, you need strategy.
Yes.
You need a plan, and you need to know why you're doing it. Right? So if you hire a brand strategist and they give you the colors and the fonts, you want to know why they're giving you those colors and fonts. Make sure their why matches your why. If you have a website designed, make sure that their why they did it like this matches your why. Start asking questions of the professionals, because a lot of times they're doing what's trendy, it's just a template that they just use, and you don't know that. So they're doing things to make their life a little easier, but does it match your messaging and your branding? Does it match? Not always. In fact, I see it not matched more than I see it matched. And if you want to take a look at what's really trending, pay attention to the top sites. So you're talking Apple, you're talking some of the major brands. See what they're doing. Now, you may not have, I'm a service-based B2B, so obviously I don't sell phones and computers, but there's things about the placement of things on the site, how many times there's a call to action, when they show up, how much information you're putting on that site. Even one of the biggest things I see with LinkedIn in particular is posts are too long. People write books. There's a whole article feature there's newsletters and articles. That's what that's for. If you're going to write an article, put it in the archives, because that's great SEO. I mean, really great SEO for you if you make it SEO rich, because it's a search engine and the articles are great.
It's a third best. Yes.
Yes. And then the other thing I see is a lot of people, I mean, AI is fun. I'm not gonna lie. I just played with it yesterday and made all these little cartoons, and it was fun. And would I use that in marketing as a cartoon? Yes. Right? An illustration, yes. But if some of them came out looking more like photographs that didn't look like me at all, and I wouldn't use those. So the more if we want to use AI, play with AI in your social media. I did a whole last couple of years. I've been doing a Dr. Seuss series around Christmas. Because I don't celebrate Christmas, but I have fun. I know everybody's kind of in a great mood. So I do these have AI do a Dr. Seuss poem talking about what you do. And it really gets some great, I mean, it's fun to listen to and read. I mean, so it's kind of like, and then you get the Dr. Seuss images, So stuff like that can be really fun in your marketing. It'll attract attention. But we really want to have intention, a strategy, and a plan. And we really want to make sure in our social media that we're consistent.
Yes.
And for me, I have to batch. What does that mean? I plan content for 3 to 6 months out. I have it start on my blog, and then that becomes posts, then that becomes newsletters, etc. So it starts in my home. I build my home first, and then I build out. And I'm using the same subjects, and I'm talking about it enough that people are actually getting it.
Hmm.
because we think we post, oh, nobody's going to want to see that again. The
Hmm.
chances of
Nobody
somebody ever,
remembers. Yeah.
no, no, there's way too much being thrown at us. So use the same things, then you become more memorable.
Hmm.
Because if they see an image they've seen 10 times, they're like, oh, yeah, I remember,
Hmm.
which is a good thing. That's kind of what we're trying to achieve. If we're always
Hmm.
using something different, we're always trying to come up with something different, then we're actually missing the point of touch points,
Hmm.
which now are like 15. So we really got to do our job. So
I
that's
think that number is increasing. So
it. Yeah, it just went
I heard
from
some guru
7
say
to
it's
15.
77,
Yeah.
77 or something like that, like before people actually make a decision to purchase. Like AI, okay, retracing back, I'm going to take a look at every video that AI is created with talking heads and watch their tongues. That's going to be my next obsession, probably. I use AI actually in my for my logo. I'm rebranding from my personal name to getshitdonecoach.com. And that's being fun. I'm still thinking like the branding is going to be the same. It's going to be the same me. Nothing's going to be changing about my approach except the colors and fonts and stuff. On the other hand, um, consistency. I love what you said about consistency. The batching, I'm all about batching. I batch my tasks, I batch my posts. Just by bygone May, I completed 2 years on my YouTube channel. And for me,
Awesome.
that's a big thing because I have never missed a Monday or a Thursday. I drip twice a week, and I have never missed a Monday and I've never missed a Thursday. So that people are noticing. Consistency is what brings the results, right?
Yes.
I'm a big believer in that too. Ariel, this conversation has been super, super awesome. And there have been a few things that I know, but I need somebody else to tell me so that I rethink and reestablish things in my own brain. So thank you
We
very
all do.
much, very, very much for this. So you guys, if this resonated with you, go connect with Ariel, explore her work around her story-driven strategy, branding, and authentic visibility. Ariel, what's the best place for people to get in touch with you?
So I play on LinkedIn. That's where you're going to actually find me socially.
Mm,
So
mm.
find me there and DM me, please. And then my website is pretty easy to find because it's arieljoyfaith.com. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Joy and faith. And if you forget what it is, it's right there in the description. So go connect with Ariel. Don't just look her up on LinkedIn, hit the connect button and send her a DM and say you found her on this podcast. And if you're enjoying these Teach Me Something conversations, make sure you like and subscribe and share this episode with somebody who's ready to stop blending in and get some clarity on branding and start showing up for themselves intentionally in their business. Ariel, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure.
You guys, I'll see you in the next one.